pulpit pimping is a way of life in America. Do we disagree with this? Anybody? Pulpit pimping. It goes on in America where preachers know how to work the congregation out of more than they probably would naturally give.
You drive a wonderful car and you have a plane. How do you explain that?
D.D. Jakes lives in a $5.5 million mansion in Fort Worth, Texas.
God don't live in no church. Nowhere in the Bible, and I read it 17 times, nowhere in it does it say, build me a house on 5th and nowhere. I only like stained glass windows. So I don't want nobody looking in on the hustle. I mean the truth.
Kidnapping.
Marvin Sapp is video going viral because he's instructing his ushers to close the church doors so he can demand money from
and lock the people in until he gets 40 bands.
So, we got a clip though, so it's better. You got to hear it from him.
I said close them doors. Ushers, close the doors. Close the doors. Close the doors. We all gonna lead together.
Preachers know how to work you out of more than what you would normally give out your pocket. They feel like you owe this in the name of the Lord.
You know, the Bible says there's 5 ways that they're allowed to make money.
Do you know them?
Yeah.
Okay. What is the 5 ways they're allowed to make money before I go deeper into this? This is what I'm saying. In this case that was caught on video, the brother aggressively said what he want from people. Am I lying?
No, you're not. And he had to, well, I would say.
He aggressively said what he want from people.
I want hard wooden benches in there because I don't want nobody comfortable. I need a greasing with a perm whose neck looks like a half a pack of hot dogs. Who's a silver-tongued macking mother.
And came down to the big and sat down in the other side. You don't know what the f they be saying.
There's 1,000 of you tonight, and those that are watching, it's 1,000 that's watching online.
They're doing the math.
This is a small seed. If I get 1,000 online to give this, if I get 1,000 in the sanctuary to give this, that's $40,000 tonight.
At the collection plate. Now look here. Oh, Joe. Hey, don't put no change in the collection plate.
Yeah,
God don't like noise.
Yeah, God don't like
God don't like noise. Hey, paper.
Close the door though.
He trying to buy a kilo. He trying to get trying to buy some.
That means people was leaving if you got to say close the door. The doors is locked. They closed them. What you gonna do?
You better open this motherfucker. You'd heard me. You better open this motherfucking door, bro.
I done walked through that line before.
You better open this motherfucking door. You know what he was trying to get money for? A hairpiece. You seen his hair? You seen this? Look at the back of his head, man.
It was sap.
It looked like his head grew, but his hair didn't.
The first thing he did on Ricky Smiley that I was like, oh, you word playing, homie, was when the man said, shut the doors. And he said, in fact, the last 2 went like this, close the doors. Close the doors. And I was like, whoa, okay. And he act like, I'm just saying, they downplayed what they did. Listen, if you are the pastor at a church and people want the respect of the pastor, your influence over the people is strong.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, pay attention. You are about to bear witness to a world-class gaslighter. This man's going to tell you up is down and around is a square, and he's going to look you dead in the eye and expect you to believe him. Pay attention. You only see this once in a lifetime, and it's a doozy.
The reason why I'm here. The reason why I'm here is because what has happened is people have taken clickbait and made something out of it that it isn't. And because of that, my church has been getting phone calls. People have called my church and cussed me out. My staff are afraid because I've received death threats over $20 and shut the door.
Hold up. Just wait a god dang minute.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
Amazingly, the hubris that it takes for this man to come on a radio show and play the absolute victim like he didn't absolutely close the doors on folks and hold them hostage, virtually hostage for $20, $100 for some, told the people to bring in that money. He wanted to raise $40,000. He didn't really care. He didn't care what was going on in their life. Inflation through the roof. People barely making it. Eggs. Can't even afford eggs, but this fool has the absolute gall to tell these folks, hey, we need a blessing of $20 and you can't leave until we get it. But when it really comes down to it, it's not prosperity for you. No. It's just prosperity for them. You dig?
It's the basic truth of the human condition that everybody lies. The only variable is about what.
Polite savages. Ladies and gentlemen of polite savages, it's time to tell the truth and shame the devil. When I was a young man, somebody told me the absolute best game they ever seen spit was from the Pulpit. Pass that collection plate over and over again. And yes, we're not saying all, but these prosperity preachers are only preaching that prosperity so they can prosper. But you ever notice while all the poor people go to church, but the rich people run the church? I thought the church was here to help people. Look at what Marvin Sapp did. Then he had the nerve to look you dead in the eyes and gaslight and act like he didn't really say what everybody knows he said and meant. Heck, back in the old days when they got caught dirty, at least Jimmy Swagger had the nerve to repent. But it's a new day and a new time. Get that cash. Mega churches, streaming, multiple income streams coming directly to the pocket of the man preaching the word while the congregation gets poorer and you wonder why attendance is dwindling. Think about it.
They people on the corner at the bus stop bothering. No, those are God's people, not the people that can dress up, drive their pretty cars, go listen to a man in a nice suit, give this nice man money, and the doors close when everybody leaves, and you don't see these people nowhere visible in the community, feeding, clothing, and sheltering. Real churches don't close. Real churches are open 24/7. You can go sleep on the bench. You can go use the bathroom. You can go get something to eat. That's why the word of God says you're supposed to bring your tithes to the storehouse. It's the storehouse. Your tithes is not money. The preacher wants the money. God wants you to come store things up in here. Wheat, grain, blankets, pillowcases, beanie hats, diapers, tampons, canned goods. You come store it here to come out and feed the people.
When you go on there and you say shut the doors, why you can't just say close the doors? It's the same thing. You meant the same thing. And okay, you act like it ain't literally like you locked in there. Okay, they want the respect of the pastor. So there are a large number of people. I ain't gonna even tell you what he told the people who was sitting upstairs. He basically told them, this the VIP, y'all gotta pay more. Right. That's what he said to the people.
He explained it. Yeah,
this VIP, y'all, I want 20 from these. Y'all got the 100.
That's crazy, dog.
The point I'm trying to make, why go on Ricky Smiley and make yourself look stupid and not say exactly what you doing? If you a preacher, why can't you stand on who you are?
You know that can be considered kidnapping, right? If you shut a door and you
close the doors,
that could be considered kidnapping, especially given the circumstances of what you're demanding money.
Mm-hmm.
And I absolutely want to say this, don't get me wrong. I was raised with a strong belief and understanding of the higher power that controls everything. And I don't think that these men who are exploiting people are a great representation of that. I'd rather worship at home and stay away from these wolves in sheep's clothing trying to extract every dollar from me. And it doesn't make a difference because it seems like this is an international, interracial hustle. And don't even get me started on the pandering, the absolute pandering that these institutions actually throw at the women, downgrading the men, telling them that they don't have to get chose, or if they deserve everything when they got 4 or 5 children in tow. Whatever happened to the notion that God helps those who helps themselves? One of the few things things that I see every race agrees on, that these preachers are preaching for themselves most of the time. And if it's not most of the time, it sure is a whole lot of the time, because we can't tell the difference. And I don't know who or what's gonna stop it, but it's a cold game when you go in the Lord's pockets.
Listen,
I need to go into the back.
Listen. Hey, you know Marvin Sapp. Now the church. That's part of the building fund. The church need new windows.
You ain't gonna tell me how much. You're not gonna tell me how much to give. He need a Rolex. Oh, he need a jet. Oh, he need a Rolls Royce. He need a Bentley.
Yeah.
He ain't gonna have a better. If I'm working harder, he ain't gonna have a better car than me.
We hear many types of preachers boldly asking parishioners and adoring fans for their income in form of a tithe for the good works like these music so-called gospel singers, preachers produce. They get it through their administrative tasks, their good ministry works of service, so-called church marriage counselors, giving advice with the good word. Then we got prosperity preachers like Joel Osteen, using the seed of faith.
Oral Roberts is credited as being the first televangelist to preach the prosperity gospel. He also preached seed faith, which proclaimed that God would repay every dollar donated to his ministry 7 times over.
The more that you give away, the more that not only his pockets get even bigger, but the chances of you becoming richer supposedly has an increased possibility to be happening where you ain't poor no more. And one of the many ways and methods that Joel Osteen uses is not only from using YouTube and social media and on televised programs, but he's even got bestsellers on Amazon, writing books not about the good word, the holy prophets, but rather for money profits, getting themselves on show like Oprah, making connection Tyler Perry, for all whatever it takes to get higher celebrity status, and more guest features by celebrities, like one Kanye Ye West showing up at Lakewood doing Jesus is King service 5 years ago. And let's not forget when Hurricane Harvey descended on the great state of Texas, where the good people of Houston en masse were without water, electricity supplies, and left stranded, weathering this torrential storm as it passed through.
Osteen leads Lakewood Church in Houston, which is said to be the largest single parish in the country. Its home used to be an NBA arena. People on social media accuse Osteen of closing the church's doors to flood victims. He denies that, though.
When Harvey slammed into Texas, Pastor Joel initially offered prayers.
While rich, you know what I mean? And he closed his doors to his church over the weekend while the hurricanes destroyed Houston. Well, he was there for them on Twitter.
But little else, and social media pounced. His critics demanding more. Open your church as a shelter, one person wrote. Provide food and clothing, please. You have a huge obligation to show the love of Christ at this very moment. Open the doors.
$60 million man of God, Joel Osteen, got shamed into letting people into his not flooded 16,000-seat megachurch.
Amid the rising backlash, Osteen tweeting on Tuesday afternoon, Victoria and I care deeply about our fellow Houstonians.
You're supposed to help your fellow man at this time of need. He's like, whoa, check the fine print. Never said I was a man of God. I'm just very positive and have good teeth. So that social media person was like, yo, Joel, you got to get on this. He's the counting money like 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4.
The church says the building was inaccessible due to severe flooding. Pictures the church posted seem to confirm that. Later, others responded with their own, less dramatic pictures from outside the venue.
It ain't look flooded.
Yeah, all his people was on Twitter like, yo, his church is flooded. Look. Nope. They drove by. They pulled up. They was like, look at your dry ass church.
Look how flooded it is.
He was like, did I say it was flooded with water? I meant money.
No, actually, I meant it's flooded with the love of Christ. On the wild damage control tour that ABC's GMA, NBC's Today Show, CNN, CBS, and Fox News. Damn, every channel.
Prosperity preachers turn pimp preaching hustlers from their church pulpit, bullying churchgoers to depart from their hard-earned money in this economy. So I'm not gonna lie, polite savages, one of my influences was Joel Osteen to get up on YouTube. But I gotta say, the veil was lifted from my eyes with the Hurricane Harvey scandal, when I saw a $10 million man of God unwilling to open his doors to the sheep he was supposed to be protecting from the wolves. and nature's disasters.
We were waiting for the right time. Really, Lakewood is always open. We just didn't necessarily have staff here the night that it flooded out here. The city has a shelter 4 miles from here. We work with the city all the time, and when their shelter was totally full, they started bringing people over here. And, I think somebody created that narrative that somehow we were high and dry, and none of that is true. This building, it was a safety issue, and we took people in from the very beginning.
Now it could be a good excuse that he didn't want to get sued, and he was waiting for the city to be told what to do. I'm not Joel Osteen, I'm not that preacher man, but I think if I was walking in his shoes, I'd be the first one being the servant and soldier of the Lord, would be opening the doors to the people I'm supposed to be protecting.
The city set up a shelter about 4 miles from here. They didn't need us as a shelter at that point. They wanted us to be a distribution center, things like that. So we said, fine, you do that, we'll do our part, never dreaming that we'd have so many people needing shelters. When they filled up, they said we need shelters, we started our shelter.
Start off by first of all being like, make sure you get all these supplies in the background. He got closer to the supplies.
He's gonna be sitting on them shits like the Joker.
Man, socks to his ear like, yeah, sorry, can't hear you.
My bad.
The generous phone.
Yo, chill.
And I'm only saying this because reports show that Joel Osteen doesn't practice what he preaches, from deviating from the good book to making contradictory moves. Has he been an influence? Yes. But from the evidence gathered, my respect for him gets even less than it was once before. Because what it showed was Hurricane Harvey went to go expose old Joel Osteen willing to preserve the sanctity and the splendor of his lavish mega church over the health and hardships of his flock that he is supposed to be the good shepherd of.
Many people believe that the prosperity gospel is a false doctrine that contradicts Matthew chapter 5, verse 5.
The church have gotten distracted, and the love of money have become a big distraction to the church because the church don't want to be different from the world.
That's right.
They are not preaching the gospel.
When comes to natural disasters, creating open vectors for these prosperity preachers to get sued and lose money value of their property, it seems they're willing to lock the doors when floods happen from these downpours, when their whole job and purpose is to help out the weak, meek, sick, and the poor. But on every normal morning and nightly service, when no natural disasters have occurred, what do these prosperity preachers go and do? They have the audacity to close the doors and prevent the congregation from leaving, when these pretended preachers out here bully, pimping, preaching, demanding a prince's ransom and church donations. This is the mode of operation when the good times are here, but when the bad times are sure to come. Just like with Joel Osteen and Hurricane Harvey, these preachers are willing to do whatever it takes to close the doors from preventing you from coming in your time of need, but then willing to be locking you in for you to see the faith with dollar bills and that collection plate.
I said close them doors.
Why you locking it?
Ushers, close the doors. Close the doors. Close the doors.
You said lock it though.
We all gonna leave together?
No, I gave $10 last week. For real, sir, you gonna have to move. For real, So you gonna stand over?
There's 1,000 of you tonight, and those that are watching. It's 1,000 that's watching online.
I don't want to get. I just don't want you to get your ass beat while you're just doing your job. I really don't.
Homie, we don't do for free in this world. We do comes with blessings. So don't say some money don't go to you, man. You in the church hustle, man. I'm a preacher. I give my show to the people. This is my church. I am here preaching to the people, and I give it to them. When they give donations, I love it. It helps me. Some people say I'm a comedian. I love that too. But I am spreading the word as I am out there doing what I do. And that's why I get my main donations from the people when they donate to come see me. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate it. I don't have to pressure the people into coming up out of something. When they come up out of something, I love it.
Thank you for watching the Tip Network. Follow us on all social media outlets and ask yourself one burning question. Can you handle the tip? Boom. We're out.
We found true happiness